I want to talk about RAM, and this is a hot topic for MacBooks, iMacs, Mac, whatever. If you're buying a new Mac, you're wondering what RAM size should I get, and should I spend the outrageous $200 that Apple charges to upgrade from 8 gigs of RAM to 16 gigs of RAM, or 24 or up to whatever they support. Traded in my MacBook Pro and got an M1 MacBook Air with 8 gigs of RAM. Got 512 storage for it, but 8 gigs of RAM. Then got an M1 iMac, 8 gigs of RAM. So I've been using 8 gigs of RAM, and I do video editing, I do AI development, I do iOS development, I do my design apps, Adobe, Lightroom, whatever I want to do, even CAD, 3D rendering, whatever I throw at it, it's great for my use case. Now, I want to say it's very contextual to your use case, but 8 gigs of RAM is plenty of enough to do what you want to do, given that you use the system in a certain manner. I would like to get a 16 gig M2 Mac Mini for my next upgrade, but I'm still going to use my M1 8 gigs of RAM max. I'm not letting them go. The reason I'm getting 16 gigs, for instance, would be just so I can do a bit more intensive iOS development for AI inferencing. It's just because when I run simulators and I have lots of projects open and run some Python code on the side, it's getting a bit too intensive for that purpose. But that's only because I'm pushing the system to an extreme limit. It's not that I can't do coding at all. It's not that I can't build any apps. I've actually already built apps on my 8 gigs of RAM max on my MacBook and my iMac. It's perfectly fine. It doesn't stutter. There's no issues. 8 gigs of RAM is plenty of good RAM. You'll get going. You can do lots of great workflows. You can do obviously student things, university things. You can start out app development. You can do coding. You can do video editing. I do 4K video editing, design apps, Adobe, Lightroom, Illustrator, whatever you want to run on it. It's great. Overall, it's a great product. It's very portable. It's very versatile. It's great. It doesn't consume a lot of energy. It's efficient. It's very focused and well designed. But still outrageous that Apple charges, let's say, $200 for upgrading RAM. But beside that, 8 gigs is plenty good. I hope that gives you some confidence and at least some help and good luck in your decision making.